All right, we are live. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. It is 6 o'clock on Sunday night, Eastern Time. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to come live with you guys. So I'm going to hang out here for a minute and let you all jump on. Let's see. Let's get a banner up, talk about Happy Mother's Day. And if you jump in here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Let's see, Happy Mother's Day. Go there. I'll give that a ticker. There we go. Okay. All right. So, some interesting insights with regards to Mother's Day. So, I'm excited to have this conversation today. It probably won't be long just because many of you are spending time with your families and your mothers, and that's how it should be today. I was at my brother's and it was amazing. It's just always so nice to share time with family. And we just, happened to end things a little bit early. So that gave me some time to jump in here and get on live with you guys. So let's see, here we go. Sunday Night Live. All right, I'm just loading up all of the details here for us. Here we go. Hey, Kenny, how are you? So nice to see you. I wasn't sure if anybody was going to be jumping in here with me. I didn't put the promotion out because I wasn't sure I was going to make it on with just with family things going on. So I am just happy to be here. And let's see, here we go. This is where I want here. So I'm so glad you joined us. Put that in there, go save. And I'm doing really great. I'm a little melancholy. I've got a little bit of that going on. My daughter is in France, so it's the first Mother's Day I've had without her. She's 19, so this is my first Mother's Day without my daughter. So it's been a little bit of an emotional day. But just feeling super blessed. She, FaceTimed me this morning and, I got to chat with her and, we've been texting all day. So, it's just interesting because you're like, ooh, it's just, it's just different. And I started to think about, because last year, hold on one second, let me get that there. I know. So I'll tell you how she ended up in France in a minute, but she's there for a month, maybe longer. But, it's just interesting because when she went to Arizona back in the fall, I know you guys remember that. And, I took her out to Arizona to go to college. It was, I don't know why it felt different, but it just felt different. And maybe it's because there wasn't, and she was gone for my birthday, but I don't know, this just feels very different. I know. Yeah, she's there for a month. So she went out with a friend of hers, so check this story out. So my bra straps are showing. Sorry, I'm just like being super revealing right now. Like, oh, okay, there, I think that's better. Okay. So she had a friend of hers who's the friend travels extensively with her family. So they went out to France last year, and I know you don't mind. Thank you so much for your grace. So they went out to France last year, and this friend of hers got onto Tinder and meets this guy and starts dating this guy in France. Now the friend is from here, so she starts dating the guy in France. And they, I guess they're going back and forth. They've been maintaining this long distance relationship now for about a year. So her friend said, hey, I'm going out to visit him. Do you want to come with me? And Hannah said, yeah, that'd be amazing. Because back in, so Hannah's been taking French since she's been in like 7th grade. I think 7th grade is when she started French, with the aspirations to always go to France. And so part of it then when she got to high school was that they were supposed to go with her French class to France in April of 2020. And I know something weird happened at that time in the world. And it's a red-tailed hawk just landed on the tree out there. I love those birds. Anyway, squirrel, bird. So she was supposed to go. Obviously, that didn't happen. Never got to go. So this is her first opportunity to go. So she was super excited because she's, I think she's got 6 or 7 years of French under her belt. Hold on, gotta let Bentley in. It's nice enough to leave the door. I usually leave the door open and let him come in and out. But my neighbor he is out there 4 hours on his lawn. He goes out. I'm going to sidebar for a second. He goes out with his leaf blower and he blows every ounce of debris off of his lawn. Then he cuts his lawn. Then he goes back out with his blower and he blows every ounce of debris back off of his lawn. Again, it's an obsession. It's 4 hours and he has the loudest lawn tools. It's so annoying. So anyway, I don't hear him right now, but he was just out a minute ago with his weed whipper. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, no, she started taking language when she was in 7th grade, which is why, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I took French till I was in 9th grade. So anyway, someone like what? What did I miss on that one? Looks like it's just you and me so far, Kenny. Thank you. Anyway, so she goes out there and the friend and the boyfriend, she said, I knew I'd be the third wheel, but they've been doing nothing but fighting. The friend has been doing nothing but complaining about everything. And my daughter, when she gets into situations, she might complain a little bit, but then when she knows, like she then will know, she'll be like, we need to make the most of it. So she's really good from a mindset perspective. So that's really bothering her. So she's trying to like figure out her own itinerary and to get the heck out and just be able to start, have her own adventure. So anyway, so she's there and she's doing her thing and she's 19 and she should. So, I see. Yeah. What is that, Kenny? Like, why are people so freaking obsessed? It's ridiculous. Hey, Uncle Al, nice to see you here. I mean, I don't get the whole manicured lawn thing. Like, I just have somebody cut my lawn every week. I don't fertilize. I don't water my lawn. My lawn just lawns. It just does what it does. I thank you so much, Uncle Al. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't do anything to it. This is where I tend to focus my time is in my garden and my flowers, things like that. So I could care less about a blade of grass. I mean, obviously it's green. You guys can. Oh no, you can't see that out the window, but yeah, I mean, once it's cut, you can't see the dandelions. A lot of people, if I were your neighbor, you would not like me. So are you a little anal about it, Kenny? Yeah. So one of the things that I only mow it and edge trimmer with the weed whacker. What? You don't mow with an actual mower? It's a form of brainwashing. Which part? The whole mowing thing? Like the whole keeping up with the Joneses? Like I remember one time it was fall and the leaves were falling. Now you guys, I've been a single mom, raising my kid, and there's only so much time in the day for me to do what I need to get done. And of course, taking care of my child is my priority. And I remember this one time, this was a few years ago, my daughter was little. She might have been 3, 4, and my neighbor came over, and his my neighbor's so kind, very kind. But he was sort of in a very nice way, like talking about how, him and some of the other neighbors on the other side of the street had cleaned up all their leaves, and that my leaves were blowing over into their lawn. And he wasn't a jerk about it. I will say that. But he was concerned, right? Because he was like, well, I did all this work. And like I say, he wasn't, it's just the whole thing is like it was a conversation that didn't need to happen. And I remember, looking at him in my head, thinking to myself, yeah, I don't have a wife inside my house cooking dinner, cleaning, doing the laundry, and taking care of the inside of the house so that I can be outside all day long like he was, obsessing over the lawn and the leaves and all of that. This was a different neighbor. So, just kind of be mindful when you're thinking about who your neighbors are. And when you're upset with what they can or can't do with their lawn, you don't know their story. I could care less about leaves on my lawn when I'm trying to manage my business, manage my kid, manage my home, my household, make sure everyone is fed and safe and happy. So, that wasn't the rant that I wanted to go on today, but yeah, you mow it with the lawnmower. Oh, and then edge. Okay, got it. That makes sense. I thought you were saying you mow your whole lawn with the edge trimmer. I was gonna like send you to like Lawn People Anonymous or something, Kenny. Yeah. Yeah, the Joneses. Yeah, right. Fall in line with everybody, right, Uncle Al? Yeah, for sure. The neighborhood Joneses. I go out and start, and 9 out of 10 times for that's so funny. Yeah, everybody's following suit. Let's see where. Yeah, mow the lawn with the. Oh, you. Yeah, I know. That's what I thought you said. All right, so here was what I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you guys have been seeing this or not. If you're over on Instagram, this has been something that I've been seeing a lot on Instagram. Is that people have been asking this question. If I'm paraphrasing and I'm trying to remember exactly how the question is phrased, and I've seen it multiple times over there. So I'm going to try to get this so that you understand. And the question is something to the effect of, if you could have your same mother, if you could choose your mother all over again, would you? Or something like that, right? Would you have your same mother? Like that's basically what it was. And what's interesting is, and Kenny, I love you, my friend, as always. Thank you. And hey, Bill, how are you? I got to hang out with Bill yesterday. We had our Michigan Fruit and Nut Growers meeting, which was always amazing. And yeah, I use organics on the lawn too, like nothing. Yeah. So yes, I know. Appreciate you being here. But okay, so here's the question. So if you could choose your same mother, would you choose your same mother? And so many people, and I want you to keep your eyes and ears open for this, because so many people were saying they would not choose their same mother. They no, never in a million years. My mom, they had all these like incredibly horrible, adverse things to say about their mother. So yeah, so let's just ask the question here. If you could choose your mother all over again, would you? Would you choose your same mother? Just drop a yes or a no or a maybe or whatever you want to drop. Drop that in the comments. And hold on, I'm going to go shut my front door because my neighbor out front is mowing, who's not obsessed, but it's okay. It's just, I don't know. Are you guys okay? Like, can you hear me okay? Or do you hear I'm going to hang out here. If you hear the lawnmower too much, because my mic it should block out that sound, but If it doesn't, just let me know and I'll get up and shut the front door. But if you hear it, let me know. Because I'm not sure if I have it blocked for outside stuff. So, oh, okay, perfect. Because I hear it pretty loud behind me. So I'm just gonna hang out here. Okay, so mom, yes, dad, no. Okay. And Kenny says gonna stand mute on the subject, not a good topic. Okay. So this is interesting. So, and I'm not here to judge one way or another. So I want to establish that this is not me. If you're saying you would not choose what, you wouldn't choose your mother or your father again, I'm not here to judge that. What I am here to do is just raise a question because I had to think about it, right? Um I would choose my dad. I would choose him. Certainly, I could go through a list of things with both of them that were like, no, I would never choose them, or yes, I would, right? I think that's normal for all of us. Like we can look at the things that our parents, the examples that they were for us, the traits that we didn't like, and we can latch onto them, and then we can, pick the traits that we did like, and we can latch onto them. And um yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments here as you're coming through. So what what bothered me, I guess, about what people were saying is that people were like, I would never, and my mother was this and that, and it was just really all of these awful things. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, I didn't have a great relationship with my mom. And I could sit here and tell you, I could probably, if I wanted to, I could say no to that question. But I really had to think about the question. So that's where I want to propose to you. Think about that question long and hard. Because when you start to think about who you are today, what did that experience of that parent, what did that experience make you? And you could have maybe had a different parent. It could have been a very different experience. Doesn't necessarily mean it would have been better, doesn't mean it would have been worse. But here's the other thing is when you start to think about, and this is what it forced me to do. So this is why I'm bringing this topic up, is who would you need to become? Okay? So think about if that wasn't a great relationship. And I'm thinking about my mom's relationship, my relationship with my mother. Who do you need to become? Right? We can't just say they needed to be this and they needed to be that, and I wanted them to be more of this and less of that, or judgy. And in my case, it was like I always felt judged by my mom. So does that mean I wouldn't want her as my mother? Or does that mean that if I could recognize something within me that then could say something to her, if I could have recognized it at a time in my life when she was alive, to be able to say to her, um, I feel judged when, I try to have a conversation or I try to share things. I feel judged. Why do you do that? It's those kinds of things. So if your parents aren't on planet Earth anymore, I would encourage you to start looking at the things that you may have seen that if you're like, I would never choose them again. My question would be why? And then once you provide your answer, then I'm going to ask you, who do you need to be? Who do you need to become? How do you need to behave in order to counteract that, in order to um, help grow beyond that? Because this isn't all about them. Our parents were put on this earth, all of us as parents. If you have children, you know that um, kids don't come with a manual. We don't freaking know. We have no idea. And what's interesting is when I talk to my daughter, when she and I have arguments about things, she will say to me, she'll go, I do this because I'm just like you. Like, and I have to stop and I go, holy shit, she is just like me. I'm yelling at her for behaviors that are mine. I gave her those behaviors, right? And the fact that she's 19 years old and recognizes that, but then also embraces it, right? And she'll say, I'm like this because of you. And because of you, I do this. And she always spins it into something positive. So this isn't all about, and again, there's a lot of trauma when we talk about our parents and the things that we have experienced and, um, you know, what we view as negative. Um, a lot of people are really like, I don't talk to my parents anymore. Um, that's sad to me. And again, there's no judgment. I'm not saying that with judgment, because we all would love to have this, like, we have this vision of what we think is perfection with parents and parenting. And I think that's unrealistic. Um, I guess for me, again, like, not feeling judged. Well, but then I judge, right? So can I be less judgy? And if I'm less judgy, would that have changed that relationship? But then, if I would have confronted her on that, if I would have said, and at one point I had actually said to her, because my mom used to, I was the youngest of four. So if she was mad at any of my brothers and sisters, instead of going to them, she would come and take it out on me. She'd find something to get upset at me over. And I remember one day, I said to her, I actually brought that up to her. I'm like, I'm not them. So if you're upset with them, go to them. I'm not here to be that person. And it completely diffused her behavior. So could I have done more of that? Yeah, I totally could have, right? I could have just been more confrontational in a good way, more diffusing to the situations that I didn't feel served me, right? But how did I grow from that? Let me read your comments here. So I'm just going to single out that phrase. I'm going to propose to you. Kenny. Let's see. I got my ass kicked following my mom's advice. What was your mom's advice, Uncle Al? What was that? Small goats are better for lawn, mow and fertilize at the same time. So my girlfriend in Napa, quick sidebar, she's actually hiring goats. Goats or sheep? I think she's hiring sheep. She's got a 9-acre piece of property up in the mountains up in Napa. I was just out there and she said she's renting sheep to come and mow her lawn. I'm like, I love that, right? I wish we could do that here. I would hire sheep. I want to get some sheep out here. Just do that. So Prepper 101, oldest of one. So yeah. So what was your relationship like with your parents, right? And thank you so much to all my babies mamas out there. I love it. Yeah, Uncle Al, we need to hear how you got your ass kicked. You're gonna have to come clean on that one. So I think also, again, I bring this up to say, to help us become a little bit more aware of ourselves, our own behavior, our ability to step into our own power. And I think that we are afraid to confront our parents in certain ways. My dad, I had to confront him on a handful of issues over the years, and he would shut down. He was incredibly emotionally disconnected, right? He didn't want to hear it. My dad wanted all the happy things. He, if it was, if it was adverse, if there was anything that was disruptive, he wanted nothing to do with it. He just didn't like it. He didn't like that confrontation. So, I was able to say my piece. And when I would say my piece, then I could get his behavior to change and be more adaptive to what my needs were. But then we never had a conversation about it, which I think is also really important to be able to have a conversation. But that's how my dad, that's how he coped. So my mom, on the other hand, I'd try to say something to her and it would turn into, it was like trying to argue with, a child, right? So it would be like, if I tried to say something about my feelings and my mom would say, well, you did this and you did that. And so it would immediately start to throw the shit back at you. And I know a lot of people like that. That was trying to have conversations with my ex was very similar in that sense. It felt very like childlike, where you couldn't actually express your feelings and what you really felt you needed without it being thrown back at you about, well, you're doing this and you're doing this. So they could never stick to the right, stick to the task at hand, stick to the topic at hand. Hey, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. So Uncle Al says both parents are racist, mentally in 30s and 40s, cheap penny pinching. Yeah, I mean, again, there's so much. So started working at 12, also smoking. Yeah, crazy. So we can, part of all of this, again, the I guess the anger, right? The things we hang on to, the blame, the shame, those things. There's so much that we can list, right? So, and we're talking about mothers today. This is Mother's Day. So let's talk about mothers. We'll dish on dads when we get in a month or so. But we can sit and put our lists together of she did this and she did that and I wish she would have done this and I wish she would have done that. But on the flip side of that, I want to be the voice of reason. And I want to say to you this, is that there's one thing that your mother did that you can never, ever criticize, ever. And that is she gave you life. Okay? She gave us life. Our mothers gave us life. Our mothers birthed us. Our mothers gave us life. So whatever it is that you're holding on to on this Mother's Day, I just want you to think about that, because you're here on planet Earth because of a mother. Because of a mother. Yeah, because of a father. But, there's something special about moms. And so just think about that is, yeah, Bill, it's so, I lost my mom in 2019, lost my dad back in 2007. It's weird. It's weird without parents. Kenny, I'm adopted, haven't ever met my real mom. But who's your real mom, right? So, my daughter's biological father, she's never met him. So, I have an ex-boyfriend who has been in her life and she's blessed to have him. So, real, what's real, right? What is real? Who loves you, who raised you, and who loves you? My mom gave me life and she got life in prison. Whoa, prepper. Holy moly, you gotta drop some tea on us on that one. I'm gonna take a little sip of my rosé for that one. Wow. Let's see. She didn't do it for me. She did it for herself. Okay, so wait. So clarify that. Haig. Mom is mom. Yeah. But smokes and fast food at 12. Wow, that's amazing, Uncle Al. So, take I know. You didn't think I was going to slide up into a Mother's Day conversation without a little Without a little glass of rosé, did you? Come on now. Cheers. Um, yeah, this is sort of that, this is that it's the contemplative conversation, right? It's the yeah, let's talk, let's have a deep conversation about moms. What does that mean? But again, um, I'm just going back to these things that are coming up on Instagram and that we can't now listen, also, I'm not going to I'm sure there's some really shitty mothers out there. However, also, I could sit here and talk about all the things with my mom and I mean, I would get anxiety if I had to like take a trip with my mother. If I had to be in the car with her, I'd get anxiety because there was this like constant feeling of judgment that I felt like I could never say anything correctly, right? Without fear of judgment. So I had that. But in that, and I only say I'm not sitting here to say that to criticize because I do like I'm giving her all the blessings in the world today. Because I also realized that since she's been gone, and you all know I do a lot of speaking, and that since she's been gone, the talks that I have done have actually been inspired by her and not from the negative stuff. I have finally been able to see all of the positive things that have come out of being raised by this single woman who struggled her ass off, who I have more in common with her than I'm like, I never knew I had this much in common with her. But I do. So I want you to think about that. Like if your parents are here or if they're not here. If your parents are still here on planet Earth, is there something, is there a behavior, is there a mindset, is there a thought, is there something that you can actually check in with yourself on? Now, you may feel like connecting with them or having a conversation or confronting them is still too much for you, okay? Because again, there's trauma. I get it. You might feel like it's too much for you. I do want you to reflect on yourself though, and that because sometimes there are people who are just too toxic for us to be in relationship with. And so who do you need to become? Because in the grand scheme of things, we cannot blame 100% of anything on anyone. We have a role, we have a hand in this. So, who do you need to become? What behaviors can you change? How can you relate differently? Can you take that experience with your mother that let's say you didn't like, and can you create something new and different and unique that then you can share with somebody else? Can you somehow learn from that and make you a better person? What can you take from that experience and improve upon who you are? Don't just sit and criticize, but say, okay, if I feel like I was always judged, is that a me thing? Because it could be a me thing, right? It could be a me thing. It could be me not feeling like I have enough self worth. It could be me not feeling like I have enough confidence. So when you are feeling those things, a lot of times that is your own personal judgment. It's not the other person. So we have to start to recognize these questions, the things that we've been telling ourselves, the stories that we've been living in, and how do we turn those around and create something better for ourselves? Because then when we have our kids, what can we do differently for our kids? There's things that, I've behaviors and things that I have attempted to be conscious of to either not pass on to my daughter or not behave that way to my daughter or to behave a certain way to my daughter. So there's definitely both of those things. But let's just, be clear, like no children, no matter how much we shift and change and attempt to raise our kids, we are still traumatizing them, right? They're still going to see things in us and want to criticize. Like we are still parents And we're doing things with our kids, and our kids are still going to criticize us, and somehow we're going to screw them up. So it's just really about becoming better for yourself and for the next generation, knowing that it's never going to be perfect. So let's see. What is Heig say? She had a baby because she wanted to have a baby. She didn't do anything for me. Yeah, but Heig, you're here. Like, you're here. You were the asset of that, right? So I'm going to tell you right now, you are holding on to some serious trauma. That is serious trauma. If you, hey, mister, hold on. Bentley. Hey, you need to understand that you are on planet Earth for a reason. Doesn't matter what your mother wanted or didn't want. You were the recipient of that, right? I was not planning to become pregnant. My daughter is the recipient of that. She's the recipient of that. And I tell her every day that she is the blessing that I never knew that I wanted. So, so think about that. This is not about, you cannot hold on to that piece of she wanted I didn't want to be here. I didn't ask to be born in this world. No, you know what? You did, actually, because there is a huge landscape of things that we cannot understand. We will never be able to explain. You asked to be here, and she became the vessel for your soul to be on earth. And so do something incredible with it. So she wanted a baby. Okay. You are the recipient. So, hey, cheers to you, Heig. All right, let's go back through some of these. Let's see. Uncle Al says, had my first street fight at 12. Don't call people the N-word. Yeah. So I grew up in Detroit, and I didn't know what racism was. I have to be honest with you guys. They had busing. So they bussed kids in from Detroit from inner city Detroit. I lived in Detroit, in Redford. They bussed kids in. It was like I was in second or third grade. And I remember it being a big deal. I didn't know why. I was like, I don't know why. So we had an influx of Black kids from the inner city Detroit into our school. And I was getting in fights. I literally got in fights, you guys, because I was standing up for myself. I didn't understand it. I did not understand. You would bump into somebody, or somebody would deliberately bump into you. There was like this deliberate attempt to start fights. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to stand up for myself. And I remember one day I was in class, and this one, the teacher was out of the room. I don't know, class was about to start, but the teacher wasn't out of the room. And this one Black girl, I'm in like second grade, maybe third. And she like wants to kick my ass. And she had been after me, and she's like, get up. And she commanded me, and I got up, and I like bumped chests with her, and we're like, I don't know what that was. Okay. And she wanted to kick my ass, and I squared off to her. And then somebody, oh my God, the teacher's coming. And she like taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, okay, you're cool. And I'm like, what was that? I don't know what that was. Now, listen, I don't use the N-word. I don't need to use the N-word. All I know is that we're all humans. We're all people. And that someone's parents told this girl, who was a different color than me, that my color was wrong. Okay. And this happens all the time. So I don't care what race you are. You have to be mindful of what you are sharing with your children, because I didn't, I was like, what? I'm like, why? Like, why? I didn't understand it. I did not see color. I did not see race. And I later learned that it was because again, when you're third grade, you should not know racial issue. You should not know that. You shouldn't know that anyway. But in third grade, okay? So this is where we are being taught by our parents. So do better. Be a better example for your kids. Let's see. Haig says, my mother died last year on Mother's Day. So sorry to hear that. And I'm so glad you've grown, but I'm really sorry for your loss. It's really hard. So Uncle Al says, Dad got shot. I take care of my mother. That's tough too. So sorry, Uncle Al. Haig says, my mother dying was a catalyst for some real personal growth for me. Real growth comes with pain, not easy, but worth it. I'm a better person today than a year ago. It's amazing. Like when you're forced to grow, it's amazing what what that does for you. Yeah. So we all grow from it. Listen, the stress in life, those stressors, those traumas, it's so important to recognize them so we can heal from them. We all have we have traumas. I was gonna say hi, Enjoy Being. Nice to see you. You're new here on the channel. Nice to have you here. I was blessed to have a few epiphanies when I was around 12 and realizing my parents were just doing this for the first time and could make mistakes and we're not infallible. What a beautiful statement. I'm so glad you recognized it at 12 because I didn't recognize that till my mom passed away. So, in 2019, and I'm 57. But I think that's really profound. And I think so many of us need to recognize that. And again, this was really the message that I wanted to bring to all of us is that we walk around with these traumas. We walk around with the blame. We walk around, if they hadn't done this, if they had done that. But who do you need to be? What is the epiphany? Enjoy Being says, right? What is the epiphany? How can you be better? Good or bad, right? I mean, if you had a mother that beat your ass every day, really not the human you want to be. So make sure you're not being that person. I hope none of you have had that experience, but again, like, what is it? What is the trauma that you're holding on to? What are the things that you're holding on to? It was weird. I mean, weird, not weird, but again, as I'm going through, I'm every time I go to have a new talk, I get hired to speak somewhere and it's like another story comes about my mom. But it's something positive. It's something like, whoa, that has become the epiphany for me. I've been able to take the experiences as a child and now just start to spin them and then realize not that I need to grow from it, but that I have grown from it, that this is who I've become because of it. And so start to think about, who are you today because of it? How have you grown because of it? There are things that we need to grow from still. Listen, you should be growing and moving forward till the day you die. There should never be complacency. Always strive to be something a little bit better tomorrow than you are today. And, but then think about, how have you grown today from yesterday or 10 years ago? Right. Yeah. And that's it. Okay. You're cool. She respected it. She just wanted me to stand up to her. But again, I didn't understand why. I was like, I didn't do anything to this girl other than be white. So at 7 years old, when I look back at that, to me, that is the saddest thing, that we're having race riots in elementary school. That should not be the case. We really need to be spreading the words, more words of peace. Yeah, I was a young scruffy. I was the girl that was standing up for people on the playground, right? People would run to me and get me this is elementary school, get me, come to get me on the playground because somebody was getting picked on. I was that girl. I was the girl that was going and saving everybody. Um, my dad, so I'll tell you a story about my dad. He, yeah, we are so forged by our childhood. So my dad was an Orthodox priest, for anybody who doesn't know that yet. And he tells this story. I think this was before he became a priest. And he was on a bus in, I don't know where he was going, but he was on a bus traveling somewhere. And a soldier got on the bus, black man got on the bus, was coming home from the service, and went to sit on the bus and went to sit next to my dad. And the bus driver told him not to sit next to my dad. And my dad said, "It's fine. He can sit here." And the bus driver insisted, "No, you cannot sit next to a white man." And my dad was like, "No, he's fine. It's fine." And the bus driver kicked both of them off the bus. And they get off the bus, and my dad says, "I'm so sorry that happened. Can I buy you a cup of coffee?" And the man says, "I'm sorry. I've caused you enough trouble for the day," and walked away. Now this is where, you go, wow. And you guys, we're talking, back in like the 40s. Like I think my dad was like 20 years old. So, that's how I was raised. That I was raised like we're just all one people. So it's just important to make that recognition. What can you learn from whatever experiences? I know I kind of like digressing into race a little bit, but going back to your parents, what were the adverse things that have affected you that you need to either learn from or recognize what you've learned from them. Who are you today and why? So I think that's an important piece. Recognizing at the time saved my life, and I think that is why it was given to me. That's beautiful. Thank you. Came over from Howie on Earth Day. Thank you so much. Enjoy being. I really appreciate you being here. Please make sure you subscribe. It's really, I'm so blessed to have Howie has been so generous with sharing me and my page and sending people over here. So I'm super grateful and I'm glad you're here. So thank you so much. Kenny says, got my ass whipped several times a week. Whew, yeah, that's tough. I remember my cousin being at her house, and I don't even remember what she got in trouble for, but it was something kind of dumb. I don't remember. We were 10, maybe. And her dad ordered her upstairs. Like he literally was like, "I'm getting the belt, get upstairs." And she did. She ran upstairs. And he whipped her with the belt. And I went into the room that I was staying in, like in the spare room. And I just listened to her get whipped with the belt and scream. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Like those are things you're like, really? What? Kind of crazy. Grandma works at plastics factory, made my parents a plastic switch that was about the circumference of a dime at the thick end. Oh, did you get hit with the switch? Is that what you were getting hit with? Yeah. That's crazy. It's so crazy. Yeah. I know a lot of people that got whipped by their parents, right? My parents, the belt came later after my sister and I hid the damn switch. Whew, that's a tough one. My parents never laid a hand on me, so I was blessed for that. My family was afraid to become a criminal or take over the world. Our family lived under the shadow of a narcissist. I finally properly stood up to him, my dad, when he was 77, for the way he was treating my mom, who has dementia. Do you feel better about that confrontation, Enjoy Being? That's kind of what I'm curious about is like, we allow people to die because we're afraid to confront them. So I'm just curious how how you felt? Like, did that feel freeing and liberating to you? It may not have changed the person's behavior in your life, but did it feel freeing and liberating to you? That caused us not to talk for 300 days until I was informed he had 3 weeks of, dang. Oh, that's crazy. And so how did that go? Were you able to reconcile things? Um, did I get, wow. Whew. That's crazy. That is crazy. We made up on his deathbed. I'm so glad I did go and see him. Yeah, that's I'm a little choked up from that, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Um because there's so much to unpack on that one, because how did, what was his behavior and what did he say? And I can't imagine that people would be on their deathbed, you know, being not wanting to apologize for their behavior, for things like that. It's kind of crazy. So thank you for sharing. I know that can't be easy, so I appreciate you sharing. Um, Uncle Al, after two by four fight with my dad, no whipping, tough. Woof. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm drawing the line. We've gone deep. We've gone down, um, and we've talked about a lot of traumas. So here's what I want for you. Traumas go with us long, long into life. And so I'm going to read this here. Many things that from the past are spoken. Some things take time. I feel bad, though. He was bombarded by people who wanted to tell him their issues with him. I do not believe someone should undergo that in their final weeks, right? So yeah. So lots of traumas. So what I would love for each and every one of you on this Mother's Day, there's a lot. There's a lot of trauma dumping is what I call it. My patients do this. I don't mean to say that it's not a disrespectful term. It's just what we do when we have these things that we've carried along with us. We want to, we trauma dump, right? We're like, this happened to me and that happened to me. And enjoy being, you are so true. You're so right there. Tomorrow is not promised. So if you left this earth tomorrow, would you be happy with how you left it? Would you be okay with how you left it? And again, knowing that you did the best you could with what you had. So as a mother, all I did, here I was, again, we don't have a manual. We don't know how to raise kids. We just do the best we can with what we have. And there's a lot of people out there who don't have children, people who don't have kids, they're the greatest people at giving you advice for raising your children. They're the judgiest people on planet Earth, and they know better than you do on how to raise your kids. So there's a lot of, finger pointing with in those situations. So just know that if you're a parent out there, that it's okay. Like you're just doing what you do. Just come from a place of love, intention. What is it that you intend to do? How do you want this human to see the world? How do you want to bring this human into the world? I still have these like headbutts with my kid, right? And my whole goal though is I try to give her enough information to then get her to realize what she needs to do, right? I don't want to tell her what to do. I want her to be able to learn how to make decisions that are best for her, knowing that I was the driver of that. She's gonna, and I always joke, I'm like, listen, you're gonna find some way to blame me as your mother. You're gonna find some way to tell me that I traumatized you in some capacity. But I do feel that this kid that I had no intention of, I had no intention of having kids. This kid, she's freaking cool. She's really cool. Um, she loves me. She's connected to me. We have a great relationship. We butt heads like any mother daughter or any parent would. But you know, it's to me, it's just called parenting, right? You're trying to create humans. You're trying to build humans. You're trying to help people be the best version of themselves that they can be and help them to realize it in their own lives. So, um, so again, I know that I go back to when we started this podcast an hour ago with regards to the things that people are saying on social media. And would you want the same mother if you had to do it over again? I wouldn't be the same person. And I can't say that I would be a better person if I had a different mother. I can't say I'd be a worse person. I wouldn't know. But I'm the person that I am. And my mother gave me many, many gifts. And the one gift she gave me was life, to be here on planet Earth, to do with it what I choose to do. So just know that we are all here on planet Earth because of a mother. So, whatever you may think, whatever adverse traumas, you're here because of your mother. So, be grateful for that and then do something good with that. Um, so let's see, isn't that really the best you can do? Give them enough information to make the best possible decisions along the way. That's 100% it, Kenny. That's just it, right? And then hope that you did your best. And then be here to love them. Be here to know, let them know. Like my daughter always knows that she has a soft place to land. She knows that, this is her safe place. She's in France, right? And there's some things going on right now that we have to make some shifts and some pivots. And she's like, I'm going to need your help. And I'm like, I'm here. Like, I'm here for you. Like, however I can help her from this far away, I'm here to help her do that. So, so yeah, you can't just like throw them to the wolves. You have to also, in the sense that, she's in France for a month, 6 weeks, whatever she wants to do. And that whole thing is, I'll go back to something I heard years ago, when she was really, really young, is, hey, Chef Tech, nice to see you in here. Thank you so much. Somebody said to me, you will create independent children when you're so, I'm going to completely paraphrase this. I'm going to butcher it. Okay. So when you are so close to your kids and they know that they are so loved and they know that they can count on you so much for just about everything, you will create a really independent human because they know that they can travel as far as they want, figuratively, literally, whatever that is. And you are always there to catch them. You're always there to help them. You're always there to be that voice of reason, that support system. So the most independent humans, the humans that become the most adventurous, the humans that venture out the most, that get the most confidence, is because their parents allow them that space to go do it, but are always here to help love and support them through that process. So, so keep that in mind. Like, and I never forgot that. I was like, wow, that's pretty profound. And my kid, she's that person. So, my mother's survivor has managed to keep her heart intact through all of it. She is nonverbal now, but even through dementia, she remains a beautiful, peaceful spirit. That's beautiful. Wow. God bless her. Enjoy being. Sending you so much love for your mom. Grow big. Have to get back to cooking. Happy Mother's Day. I think I'm supposed to say hi, everyone in the chat. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I'm assuming that's Joe. It's either Joe or Corky. Appreciate either one of you guys being in here. So, all right. It is 7:00. We didn't have too many people on today, but I didn't think we would. But it is Mother's Day. I just wanted to come in and give you a little Mother's Day chat. So thank you guys for jumping in. I appreciate seeing you in here and being so vulnerable and sharing your thoughts and feelings. So thank you guys so much. And happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. I'll see you tomorrow on Reset Monday, Thursday for Chiropractic is Sexy. And then, of course, we'll be back here next Sunday. So, all right, you guys, love you so much. Thank you for all the love and support. See you soon. Bye.